Welcome to VDEOMKR,
the podcast that cuts past the highlight reel and takes you straight into the raw behind-the-scenes stories of creatives and makers. I'm Carly, founder of The Good Vibe Media, a woman-owned and operated video production agency and a creative studio space. Every week on VDEOMKR, I sit down with filmmakers, creators, and creative entrepreneurs for a deep, honest conversation you don't typically hear. The late nights, the pivots, the breakdowns that shape the breakthroughs. These are the conversations and stories that make people like me and so many other creatives need to hear. This is a space for growth, for lessons, for community, a place where we learn from each other's real, unfiltered journeys. This is VDEOMKR. Let's get rolling. Welcome back to another episode of VDEOMKR. I'm your host, Carly, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you might see that our studio looks a little different because we are actually in Austin, Texas today. So pumped to be meeting our podcast guests here in Austin. We're actually collaborating on a client project for South by Southwest here in Austin. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Brit, a talented brand photographer based in Greater Boston who specializes in helping entrepreneurs and creatives show up confidently in front of the camera and in their business. Brit is passionate about more than just great photos. She's committed to empowering her clients through imagery that elevates their brand presence and ultimately helps them grow their business with confidence and clarity. Her work has been featured in editorial and media outlets such as People Magazine, Vogue, Boston Magazine, and more. We are so excited to have Brit on the podcast today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
This is really fun because normally we're like hustling on the back end
exactly.
behind
We're
the camera together.
Yes, exactly.
So this feels a little different.
I love it, though.
But I'm so excited for this conversation because I'm just really, really grateful that we've been introduced through, client work, and I've gotten to see how you work behind the scenes, but also the amazing photography that everybody can see on your website and your socials. It's the behind the scene and in front of the scene matches perfectly. Like you truly are such a gem, and how you operate is something that I really admire and respect.
Thank you so much.
So let's first get started with some rapid fire questions.
Love it.
Okay, let's do it. First one is, what is the first thing that you ever made that you were super proud of? And you can really rewind the tapes if you want.
I was going to say, I heard you actually ask the last guest this, and I was thinking about it, and I think it's back in elementary school when you would have a book report, and they'd make you do like a shadow box scene from whatever like your favorite part of the book was to talk about. And I used to love doing those things. I was a huge book nerd, so that was like my favorite project that we would get. And those are like probably the first things that I remember creating.
Yeah, that's straight nostalgia right there.
Yes.
I can see it. Yes, I love that. Okay, who's a dream client that you want in front of your camera?
Oh, there's so many.
So many.
I always say Tom Brady.
Oh,
I feel like that's because I'm a New England girl. But I would say he's always been a big one. So Tom, if you're listening. And then I don't know. There's so many. I feel like I love Jessie James Decker, which I feel like seems so random.
Yes.
But I love all of like the multifaceted stuff she does, and that she always has her family involved, and that she's just like kind of go, go, go. I love her.
I love her too. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, what's your go-to caffeine order?
Ultimate Perk, iced cinnamon sticky bun with just milk.
Yum.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh my gosh, can we go get one after this?
Yes. In Andover, Massachusetts.
Coming right up. Hope that plane is ready.
Yeah.
Okay, where do you feel the most creative?
What do you mean?
Like
Like
what
location-wise?
environment? Yeah, like
Okay.
where are you? Is it like the shower? Is it at home, your studio? Like
Yeah.
where do you feel the most creative?
I would definitely say alone.
Alone.
I think I like really need that space to recharge. And I also like getting out of my house and out of my studio and just being somewhere totally different and just sitting for hours and sort of like using that time to just kind of brain dump different ideas. And
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. Are you a journaler? Do you write things down or how do you process?
You know what? I wish I was a journaler. it's more my notes app.
Yes.
Like I always am like, if someone ever discovered my notes app, they would just be like, what is going on in this person's mind?
Okay, wait. You might need to give me a little sneak peek because now I'm
We'll put a
invested.
screenshot
Yeah.
for the video.
I love it. Okay. What is the weirdest or funniest thing that's ever happened during a shoot?
Oh, I can tell you instantly. One time I was shooting engagement photos.
Mhm.
And we were walking through, it was actually they were taking place at the wedding venue, and the wedding venue had a huge fountain
Mhm.
that was kind of like a well.
Okay.
It was the middle of April, so if you're based in New England, it's very cold.
Yeah.
And I stepped backwards while I was yes, that they were doing a walking shot, and I fell right into it. Camera drenched, everything. Yeah, it was so bad.
Stop!
It was really bad.
You're
I will never forget seeing their two heads poking down from the side of the well, being like, oh my God. It was so bad.
Was your camera ruined?
Camera ruined. It was 5 minutes into the shoot. I mean, the woman had
No.
like perfect hair and makeup. Like we had to scrap the whole thing. It
Oh,
was really
boy.
bad. The groom had to fish my shoe out of the well with a stick. It was really
Fine.
bad.
Oh my God.
That's probably why I don't want to shoot weddings anymore.
Yeah. You're actually like, that was traumatic. Wow, that's crazy. What is your favorite productivity hack with your business?
I don't know. I would say again, it's being alone with
Mm.
space to think. I think when you're go, 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 go and shooting constantly or editing constantly, or, I have two kids. So it's like I'm just constantly on the move. And I think it's really taking that time and realizing that that's so important for me to block off, or I don't feel as productive as I should be.
Absolutely. And creative too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because
Yeah.
if you're, it's that, the burnout.
That's been the biggest thing for me to learn is
Yeah.
that like that is necessary
For
because
sure.
you feel like you're doing something wrong by like taking that break or resting or just like being alone. And then it's like, no, this is,
Gosh, why do we
need
feel
it.
that
I
way?
don't know.
Yeah, I know. I relate to that hardcore. Okay, what's the project you are most proud of?
I don't know.
When you think back on like your reel and your career thus far, what's
Yeah.
like the first project where you're like, I did that?
Probably going viral
Yeah.
with that wedding video, even though I feel like that really honestly had absolutely nothing to do with me.
No,
It
but
was a cool
yeah.
experience and a cool thing. I mean, that was obviously like a very like highlight of my career type of thing.
Can you, if someone doesn't know what that is, you shared
Yeah.
it with us in the team last night.
Yeah.
We're bunking up in an Airbnb
Yes.
together in Austin, so we get a lot of girl chat time.
Mhm.
And we were all in tears when you shared
I
that
know. I'm
story
like, I
last
feel like I'm
night.
gonna cry again.
I know.
It was a bride whose father had passed, and his kind of sign to them was a butterfly. So any special moments or big days, a monarch butterfly would come around, and yep, here we go. And so during their wedding ceremony, they released monarch butterflies, and they just landed all over her, on the groom. Yeah, it was like a really beautiful
Oh my
moment, and it was actually
gosh.
one of my sister's really good friends, so it was even more special to see that for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense why it went viral
Mhm.
because you feel, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're changing the
I know.
subject. We can't ruin our makeup at the beginning of this podcast. Sorry. Oh my gosh, so cool. All right, if you were not a photographer, what do you think you would be
A
doing?
dental hygienist.
Oh, really?
Yes. I really like picking at things. Like, I just feel like that would be such a good job for me. I would love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I love this. I'm learning so much about you, Britt. This is awesome. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I want to first get some backstory of like how you got into photography. When did you have that spark that you were like, yes, this is
Okay.
what I want to do. I want to build.
I don't know. I feel like I was always sort of an art nerd. I was really into drawing, painting, like growing up, that was kind of my thing. Did photography in high school, like kind of dabbled with it my whole life, but I think it was like, I mean, back in the day, I mean, I'm old. But it was like you couldn't make a job out of that. You couldn't, like, you were a starving artist. That wasn't really ever a thing. So I think I never really thought I would have that as a career. I went to school initially for graphic design. So I definitely was in that sort of creative sphere.
Yeah.
But then I got pregnant when I was 20, married my husband, had the baby at 21, my daughter, and then Ben's stepdad gave me an old camera of his to use to be able to send Ben photos of her
Oh.
when she was obviously. So he got deployed when she was 4 months old.
Hmm.
So we didn't have iPhones. I would upload pictures of her on email, and I just sort of was like, I don't know how to use this camera because I had never used one of that. It was like a Nikon DSLR. So I just sort of YouTubed how to use it, read blog posts, and then sort of started realizing it was, the questions came of like, oh, would you shoot my Christmas card? Like, we love these pictures you're posting with Kaylee, whatever. And then I sort of realized I could monetize it.
For
So, yeah.
sure. Yeah, we love YouTube University first and
Mhm.
foremost. It's
Yeah.
such a great resource. I relate to you as you share that story too, because I feel like when you become a mom and you are documenting your first child too, like
Yeah.
experiencing this for the first time and you're documenting their growth and their changes, and obviously like you love your kids more than anything on the earth.
Mhm.
Like for me, I felt like I became a better filmmaker and I had more fun with my camera because I was like capturing her.
Something so important. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And it
Yeah.
made me fall in love with
Mhm.
that art
Yeah.
and that process.
Mhm.
So that's really cool to
Yeah,
know
it's
that
fun
that's
to like experiment with it.
Mhm.
And that's what's cool is it came from a place of like truly just like dabbling in it. Like there
Yeah.
was no pressure to perform. It was just
Mhm.
fun. So I think
Mhm.
that was nice.
Okay, so then fast forward,
Mhm.
talk about the journey of like building the business.
Yeah.
What were some of the big learning lessons you had in those first few years to kind of develop the foundation of the business you have today?
Yeah, sure. I think it was even just realizing, okay, I'm making money here and taking it from do I want this money to be like, yay, we can go out to dinner tonight and take a vacation? Or do I want to actually build a business? So I think that was like even that step one of like, is it going to be a hobby or is it going to be a real thing?
Yeah.
So, and then I actually worked. So we lived in Jacksonville, Florida, moved back to Massachusetts. I got a job with a video production company doing marketing and also was still shooting photos on the side. So they would ask me every once in a while to shoot some of their weddings as the photographer, but I was making nothing compared to what I knew that I could make, especially in like the Boston market.
For
You
sure.
can make good money there. So I kind of realized that, I could do my own thing. And that's really when I stepped into it full time and was like, okay, like I'm renting a place. I have this office. Like I got to buckle up and actually make a business out of this and create systems and strategies and figure it out. So,
Totally. And
yeah.
was majority of your work in those beginning years weddings or
Yes.
what?
So it's
Okay.
like families, weddings. Weddings really became the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Making, revenue wise. So,
Totally. Maybe for someone who is in that space of like really passionate having their hands on the camera, but they don't really know much about like building a business or what are some of those key components that that you wish you heard, some advice you wish you heard sooner that would have helped you build your business
I would say
quicker?
don't ignore the important, boring things
Uh-huh.
because that is the foundation for even like easing anxiety and stress. Have that foundation so solid that you can really take the time to then perform at work. If you ignore those back end things, it literally only comes up to bite you later. So,
Did that
like, take care
happen
of
for
it
you
right away.
ever?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I didn't walk into this thinking I would own it as a business. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
it sort of started not accidentally, but kind of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I never went into it being like, I'm gonna build this huge business and have
Yes.
the studio and all this
Yeah.
thing. Like it just sort of snowballed into what it is today.
For sure.
So I think if I was telling myself like, hey, cut out this middle part of like the floundering and trying to figure it out, it would be just that directly.
I think that's the hardest part for me as thinking back because I'm such a creative brain that like I wanted to stay in that fun,
Yeah.
shiny object
Exactly. Yeah.
and like not deal with
Yeah.
the black and white,
Exactly.
all of that. So even if it's like knowing that about yourself, finding support in the
Yes.
areas,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Where you have what would you say was like the first support system or, where you're like, What was your first kind of hire that you delegated?
Honestly, it wasn't even a hire. It was, which is going to sound so stupid. It was something as basic as having a CRM.
Yeah.
Like literally, I mean, I don't know. I use HoneyBook. I'm sure there's a lot of other creatives that use it, but like even that alone
Yeah.
changed my business. Like it wasn't
Yes.
like, oh, I'm writing in a planner what I'm up to
Yes.
this weekend. It was like, okay, here's my contracts, here's my invoices, here's the systems I'm building out. Like that even alone was such a huge difference for me.
Mhm.
And I still have people in the industry today who aren't using anything like that. And it's just so basic. And you're like, just what are you waiting for? Like,
Yeah.
just do it.
But the
So,
second you do,
yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, where
hmm
girl, I was operating
Yeah.
my business for about 4 years before I even got QuickBooks. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
terrible. I
Yeah.
am
No,
admitting
but
that.
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right? It's kind
exactly.
of like if we could tell anyone, it would be
Uh-huh.
set that up before you even start shooting.
100%.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Literally.
So how has the back end of your business evolved over the years since you began?
Yeah. That's a great question. So I think, like I said, I think there's just a system and a workflow to everything. I've actually had, assistants over the years. It's funny, like I don't have a team or
Mhm.
employees, so I feel like that's a huge part of my business that I don't have to, I guess it's like, I don't know if this is a bad word, deal with.
Yes. It's a lot of
Um,
management.
yes, it's a
Yeah.
lot of management, and I learned that. So I think a lot of
Mhm.
people, even stepping away from weddings, were kind of like, no, oh my God, why would you give that up? You've
Yeah.
built this amazing business. You should have a team. And it's just kind of like, I'm just totally not interested in that. So I think it's really also an interesting thing because I have to really hold myself accountable and I have
Mhm.
to stay on me. You know what I mean? Because there's
Mm.
really no one else that I'd specifically like, oh, I'm hiring this person full time who's,
Yeah,
taking over this
totally.
situation. I
Yes.
like now I'm rambling. I don't even remember
No,
what
no,
it was.
no, it's so
Yeah.
good. And honestly, well, and you've already brought it up. So this is a beautiful segue to kind of talk about that decision
Mm,
of stepping out of weddings. I mean, you
yes.
have built this beautiful brand, this
hmm
amazing business
hmm
through capturing these weddings and like talk about that feeling of when you had that decision. It was like a full body yes. I'm switching gears, getting in a different lane here.
Yeah. So going back to, I guess, the very beginning of shooting brand work was COVID
Yeah.
hit. Um, the wedding industry shut down. I
Hmm.
realized then how kind of totally out of control of my business that I was, right?
Yeah.
Like I relied so much on outside vendors and venues. And I was just like, this feels very, not great.
No.
Um, so anyway, so there was photographers in the Boston area who were doing something called the front porch or front steps. I don't know
Oh,
which it was. Yes.
yes, I
I think it
remember
was like
this.
throughout the United States,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, and they were doing that for families, and we lived like the downtown Main Street area of the town that we live in. So there was a ton of shops, restaurants, businesses. And I was like, I'm going to do this, but for business owners to kind of help that, like create content for them that was like, how are we pivoting? Like
Mhm.
restaurants would have these special like COVID pickup menu items
Mm.
because no one could go in and, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So all that kind of stuff, how they were changing, just being able to share it and also just give them the files so that they
Yeah.
could like have this content to create. And that's really the first time that I was like, oh, I love this,
Yeah.
especially because there was a lot of people, even, a few years ago who have no idea how to do this.
Mhm.
It's not their thing. They don't want to do it. They want someone else to do it for them. And you're kind of like, oh, I'm helping someone else make more money. This feels
Mhm.
really good. And
Mhm.
it's not that weddings aren't amazing. It just that really fulfilled me in a way that I was like, yep, okay,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah. Because you're a business owner yourself.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you feel
Yeah.
okay. So now talk about working with brands, like
hmm
different brands.
hmm
How do you navigate like who your ideal client is or
hmm
who you kind of is not aligned with the work that you do?
I think I mean, it's gotten easier as time has gone on. I think it's interesting because working with brands and different clients, obviously, there's such a huge spread of like the really small business owners or people who are literally just launching
Yeah.
versus huge brands like who we're here for this weekend. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So there's this
Yes.
huge gap. But I think it's really the people who are willing to do the work and want it, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't help someone. It doesn't matter how many great photos or content I get for you if you're not going to do anything with it. And you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of tell, even with the planning process, who's going to be like, well, this is your fault. You should be doing this. And you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of tell who's instantly like, this is not like, you don't even know what you're doing. You know what
Totally.
I mean? Like, you
For
don't know what your
sure.
brand is. You are not ready for this.
Yep.
So it's kind of seeing very clearly the people who you're like, you're just respectfully not ready,
Mm-hmm.
versus someone who I'm like, okay, let's go.
Totally. What does that process look like? Like the onboarding process. When client first discovers you and your work, how does that process look like working with you?
Yeah, so really my intake form is just tell me about you, so
Yeah.
it's your website, it's where you are on social, which really gives me the opportunity to look and see, kind of like what I was just saying,
Yeah.
is this someone, what do they need, what do they want? And then I mean, once they set up a shoot, there's a whole questionnaire involved, and that's really where it digs a little bit deeper. We have a planning call,
Mm-hmm.
we set up their mood board, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really that initial intake form that kind of shows me who they are and what
Mm-hmm.
they want out of it.
Yeah. Working with brands, I'm sure you have a lot of different like motives from your client, different ideas, like what they're going to use this imagery for probably varies, but on person to person, brand to brand, business to business. I'm curious your perspective on, I don't know how to like ask this question in a way that I'm
Like
just
I
going to
can
spit it
see the
out.
wheels. I'm like, this is like,
I'm just going to spit it out. Some clients have different expectations or understandings around the process of photography and the access that they have to their images after. Can you talk a little bit about how you navigate almost like educating your brand clients in a way that really aligns with your mission, values, processes, and business as a whole? Does that make sense? Did I ask that like in a way that makes
I think I get it.
okay?
I'm like already like jumbling these thoughts in my head
I
now.
know.
Like, rewind.
I'm literally saying it because I know that we get clients with video where like sometimes we have a client that like they understand like this is not their first rodeo. They understand production. They like really are hiring us because we are the expert in their in our field and they trust us. And then we get some clients that like think that they know, but they actually don't. And then there's almost like a little push and pull of like, look, we need to educate you on like, this is how we operate and this is why we operate this way to really serve you better and to create the content that's best for you. If that
And I
makes
think
sense.
that's really hard, obviously, because sometimes you're so like knee deep in a project and realizing that is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where gets tough. I will say, especially from shooting weddings versus shooting brands, most of the people that I work with do look at me as a professional and are very like, you do you, what do you need? How can we help you? How can we accommodate you? So I think, or not even accommodate me, but it's like they're listening to my input and executing what they need to get done on the back end to make their shoot better.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I think it's hard when clients don't,
Mm-hmm.
and then they want to kind of blame you for things that aren't happening, even though you've already talked it through and they're doing the complete opposite or kind of setting you up for failure. If
Yeah.
they're not doing things the way that you kind of outlined they need to get done.
Totally.
I don't know if that even
No,
answers
it
your
does.
question,
And it
but
actually it like reminds me of how because like Nikki is our operator, like she handles all the systems and the operations and I am not that. So when I try to like step in and do her job that way, like things get messy and muddy and there's not clarity around that. And it's the same thing like when the client tries to steer the ship in a way that's like not part of the process that you go, that's when things get muddy and unclear and all of that. So
I think it's really just sticking to with the boundaries, right? So it's like
right.
every time those things come up, it's saying to yourself, okay, how do I make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
How can, to your point, like how can I educate my client on why this isn't the way that we're going to do this?
Right.
And how can I draw the line for myself that's like, next time this happens, here's how I'm going to handle it.
Yeah.
And draw that line where it's like, we're actually not doing things this way.
Totally.
And if you want things to be done that way, and that doesn't align for me, then I'll go find someone who will do it that way.
For sure.
So it's that simple.
Totally. And sometimes the most challenging clients of ours are like our biggest learning lessons is saying, okay, This is where I need to fine tune and tweak my process or my
Right.
communications or
But then I
whatever.
think that's where people can get hung up because they feel
Mhm.
like they're doing something wrong or they're like, oh shit, like, sorry, can I swear?
Yeah, 100%. It is fair
Um,
game
like I failed in some way, and
Yeah,
it's like, no, you didn't. Like this is all just a learning thing.
for
Like
sure.
I've been doing this for what, almost 15 years, and I'm still
Mhm.
learning every
Yeah.
year different things.
Yeah, and if
So
you're not learning, then that feels stale and
yes,
boring, right?
exactly,
Like, we're here for
exactly.
the growth,
And it's like
always.
what they say, like failure is data. Like take the
Yeah.
data, take what you learned, and fix it for the next time.
Yes.
So.
For someone that is listening that might be newer into building their creative
Mhm,
business,
mhm.
what are some of the biggest boundaries you've had to set? Like, what were some of those learning lessons that you had early on where, like, this is a hard boundary that I have to set
Mm,
within your craft?
yeah, yeah. So I think for me, with what I'm doing currently, like actually, I think every photographer probably experiences this where clients want to buy into your smallest option, your, let's just say what it is, cheapest option, and then they want actually your
The big
full one.
kahuna.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And they push and they push and they kind of get, or they'll be like, I thought this. And it's just kind of like, no, you know exactly what you bought.
Black and
You
white.
knew exactly what you were getting. And now you're trying to get this by almost trying to, I don't know. It's just,
Mm.
that's a hard one. People who will kind of stay in the studio longer just to be like, oh, could we just get one more thing? Or let's do this one more set. It's just kind of like, no, and I think that gets easier as you continue, as you grow your business, because you'll realize that people will take whatever they can get from you.
Yes.
And I
Yes,
don't
yes.
say that about all of my,
Yeah,
like,
no,
obviously, I'm not
100%.
saying that 99% of my clients are amazing and great and
Yes,
like that. But there's always going to be someone.
for
So it's kind
sure.
of prepping yourself for there's always going to be some sort of headache.
Yeah.
It just comes with owning a business.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Can we talk brick and mortar a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I know earlier last year, you and I connected a lot
Hmm.
around this when I was like in a tough time
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
studio and just like navigating.
Yeah.
And I know you've had brick and mortars. Can
Hmm.
you give us a little snapshot on your history
Yeah.
of having a brick and mortar
Yeah.
studio?
So I opened my first studio in 2022. And it was huge. There were kind of like side, almost office spaces on it. There was like a little kitchenette. It was this huge, beautiful, gorgeous, massive windows, space. I loved it. And it honestly, it changed my business
Yeah.
for the better. Like opening the studio and starting brand work was really like hand in hand. Those really made this part of my business take off. I wanted to get into studio rentals with it and rent it out. I had it listed on PureSpace. I had a few rentals right out of the gate who came in and didn't put things back correctly. Things were damaged. And it just felt like renting an Airbnb of my own home. Like that
Right.
was the way I could equate it to. Like you
Yeah.
just come home and be like, oh,
Yeah.
why is stuff like this? And I just realized I did not like that aspect to it at all.
Mhm.
And then my lease at that space was ending when? Last year? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
even
all a
start it.
blur.
Um, and I just really had to take a hard look at what is my plan here? What do I want to do with this? Do I want to be kind of anchored down to this place and try to figure out how to, I don't know, even if expand is the right word, but it was just kind of like it took on this life of its own that I was like, I don't know if I love this part of this job or
Mhm.
this, I don't want to say headache that it was,
Yeah.
but it wasn't something that I was like
Light you
loving.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding a different studio space, which it's smaller, it's still in my town, and I just sort of, it was just better for me. I can't even rent it out to other photographers. So it kind of almost negates that question of like people will ask me all the time, oh, do you rent your studios out? And it's like, nope, I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't even really have to deal with that. And then I'm just on location so much.
Mhm.
That it's kind of nice to have that studio space and have it serve its purpose for exactly what I need it for. And then also just not feel that weight of like owning a massive space that I have to keep running
Yes.
with other people involved. You know what I mean?
For
So it just sort of
sure.
took off that like, I don't
Yeah.
know, element of it that I didn't love.
And probably lit up so much more creativity for you too when you had that weight gone
Hmm.
to step into your clients that you're now serving and
Yeah,
have been serving this past
totally.
year.
Yeah.
Has
Well,
there?
and I can serve them in the same way. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? There's
100%.
nothing about my personal business and what I was doing that changed,
Yes,
you know?
totally.
So yeah.
Yeah. What
hmm
has been a project this past year? Can you like give us the play by play on something that you're like, oh, this was such like it lit your soul on fire? It was a client that was awesome, or like the creative or
hmm
the concept of the shoot was like, yes, this is so good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have at this point some clients that use me quite regularly that I love.
Yeah.
Um, so that's been really fun. I'm trying to think if there's a project this year that I've sorry,
Wait,
so we
when
can
you
cut this
have
out.
actually no, it's okay. Marinate on that because I've
Yeah.
actually brought up another question on like when you because you work with clients
Yeah.
consistently, routinely.
Yes, some
Yeah.
of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Has
everyone, but
there ever been a moment where you're like get a creative rut or like are you doing all the creative concept
mm.
planning
So
for
this
your
is a
clients?
great question
Yeah.
because I think that there also is a misconception with branding photography that I am their creative director or their brand
Yeah.
strategist,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
am not.
Correct.
So that has been an interesting thing to navigate because there are definitely clients that walk into this expecting like, wait a minute, you're not going to tell me what my brand colors are or,
Yeah.
like
Or like what I'm wearing, how I should wear my
exactly. And it's kind of
hair.
like, I can help, sure,
Yeah.
ask me questions about these things. I am not a personal stylist. I
Right.
can't find these things for you.
Right.
So I have those little bit like those resources that
Yes.
I can sort of guide them with. But
Yes.
I am not a branding strategist. I'm not going to help you design your website.
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
like, you know what I
Oh
mean? So
no, totally.
there's a little bit of that, but it goes back to what you're saying,
Yeah,
educating your clients. So
for
I think
sure.
that's really where I kind of have to figure out how to even be a little bit more directly like, oh, this isn't actually what I do and not
Mm-hmm.
the scope of my job.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like other vendors and
hmm
hats that play a part in the creative process, I would love your take on like what has been the best collaborations that you've had this past year that have really like helped boost your business or your work.
Hey, you say that again.
Like, what are some of the relationships or collaborative projects that you've done? Like, I'm just thinking for us,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No, you got yeah,
internally
yeah.
or
Yeah.
externally,
Okay.
like, because collaborations are such like a big, I mean, it's a big opportunity and it's such a
hmm
topic right now where you could look at it as it's a big topic. We could probably do a whole podcast just talking about
Yeah.
collaborations, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I would love to know if
Like, are you talking
there
about like brand collaborations or more just even with other creatives?
other creatives
Okay.
or brand
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
collaborations. Maybe let's start with like other creatives first.
Yeah, I feel like, well, because I get that a lot. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
people love having content creators now. That's a
Mhm.
huge thing. And it's so funny because you hear professional photographers complaining about content creators all the time. And I feel like it's so interesting to me because they only add value to my shoots. Like, every
Exactly.
time it doesn't, even if you're not associated with me in any way, them coming in and their creative brain, like having two different people on set
Mhm.
is so fun and
Totally.
interesting. So I think, and also as a side note, if you're a photographer who's threatened by a content creator, you need to be doing your job better.
Yeah,
Honestly, like
that's
that's just
true.
how I look at it. Like, they're doing things quicker, they're doing
Mhm.
things faster, or same thing.
Yes.
But no, they're like pumping out this content that's amazing. If you're feeling insecure about that, that's your own thing to deal with,
Mhm.
not has nothing to do with them.
Mhm.
So,
100%. No, that's a really good point.
but yeah, I feel like I've had stylists come in on set,
Yeah.
obviously hair and makeup every time.
Yes.
So I mean, obviously I'm always having like other vendors involved.
Let's shift gears into like brand collaborations because there's and again, I'm speaking from a perspective of like being on the video side
Mm,
where our businesses are very similar in the
mm,
sense where we are creating content for brands of all different sizes, all different reach. And I think there's always this like opportunity that brands see of like how can we collaborate or give the meme that is like so clear in my head right now and I don't know if you've seen it but it's like client says they'll give you exposure in return
mhm,
and the image is a very overexposed image.
mm.
It's like here's your
Here,
work.
here it is.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
When do you know like being so established in this industry, when do you know it's a good time to like leverage
hmm
some of that exposure versus when do you set that boundary of saying, I don't know, like how do you
hmm
gauge like is this worth it or is it not?
hmm
Or
I
do you even
think
do that
I
now?
do.
Yeah.
There are certain cases where I've done it
Yeah.
or still do it. I think you have to have such a clear understanding of what your business goals are
Ah,
before you just say, oh,
yes.
this person has 100 million followers and is going to post my photos.
Yep.
You you just have to know what. So, God, for instance, I just had someone reach out to me. Their budget was very low,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew it was a job that I wanted based on the location that we were shooting
Yeah.
and the ins and outs of that spot that I knew that I wanted to go see.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just saying, that's not my rate, so forget it, I was just kind of like, here's what I want in return.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing is especially when someone's asking you for free work of saying, okay, well, help me help you. So if
Yeah.
it's something that you are like, okay, actually, I'd really love to do this for whatever it is. Again, you know your business goals, right?
Yep.
I think it's just saying, here's what I would like in return. And for this particular job, there was videographers on set. There was like a whole, back end to this going on that I was like, here's what I love from video. Like, if I'm going to be here giving you this content, here's the content and what I want in return. And
Mm-hmm.
here's the tags that I want. And here's the
Mm-hmm.
exposure that I actually do want. Don't let them be in control of the exposure you're getting. You control that.
Yeah.
You say,
Yes.
here's how I'd like this
Okay.
handled. And then if they say no, then that's that. But if they're like, great, like these people did, great.
Yeah, that's really
Deal for
good.
everyone.
That's really, really good. Are you willing to share some of your business goals and how you measure them?
Um,
You got some things they're cooking.
yes. I don't know necessarily how I would say how I measure them.
Yeah,
Um, obviously, because you want to say money,
right. Revenue. Yeah.
revenue, and all of that. But at the same time, I mean, like some of the things I'm working on right now, it's like, will it create any revenue or will it
Hmm.
not? Um, but yeah, I think like I was saying earlier, there's just been a lot of shifts in my business and realizing like I didn't want that massive studio anymore and just sort of kind of thinking ahead and thinking long term. I know people always talk about a 5-year plan, but I think I really had to sit down and say, what do I want? Um, so for me, that was kind of freedom, and which is why I'm trying to take my business into more of an online platform rather than just being at the studio shooting or being on location shooting. I want to open up that stream of, a different stream of revenue, and obviously people are doing it, so
Hmm.
why not me type of
God, and
thing.
you have
Yeah.
so much value to share.
Hmm.
I love that
Yeah.
you brought this up. Can you give us a little behind the scenes of what people can expect to see
Yeah.
soon?
No, I think so. In creating content for other people,
Yeah.
a lot of times I hand off the content and they're kind of like, well, now what? What do
Mhm.
I do with this? And obviously, you also get the same kind of repeat questions when you're planning a shoot. So, right now, I'm trying to put together resources and guides, not only for other brand photographers, but for the entrepreneurs who are looking for the content or have the content and don't know what to do with it.
Yes.
So there's essentially going to be two different libraries that one is helping specifically the creative side and the people who are planning the shoots, and then for the entrepreneurs who just need the help with content planning.
So freaking valuable.
Yeah.
What has that been like? I mean, this is like a whole new business
Yes.
that you're
Yeah.
developing.
Yeah. No, literally from
Yeah.
square one. Yeah.
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 So tell me how that's felt. I mean, this is like a,
Um, it's a little scary because you're putting a lot of time into effort.
yeah,
I mean, I shouldn't even say this because I actually do think it's going to do really well.
it
So
will.
I'm not sitting here
100%.
even being like, oh no, what if it doesn't? I actually think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But I think it's so different
Yeah.
than what I've been doing. So
Yeah.
I think there's that learning curve of really saying, okay, it can't just be a if I build it, they will come type of thing. I got to now figure out how to market this. What kind of funnels do I need now? I mean, it's a totally different business. So I think that's I don't even want to use the word scary.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
been interesting.
Yeah.
It's an
It's been,
interesting.
it's a new
Yes.
territory.
Yes. And I think for me, I didn't have the time or the capacity
Yeah.
to really think about it until I said, okay, I need to get rid of this massive space. I need to
Mhm.
get rid of this wedding side of my business that's taking a lot of my time and energy and I love my clients there. There was nothing
Yeah.
innately wrong with what was happening. It was just like I have such a clear direction for where I want my business to go and who I
Totally.
want to help and what those services are.
Yeah,
And the weddings just didn't align with it anymore. So
for
I think,
sure.
again, to beat a dead horse, it's like you got to know what it is you want to even create the goal.
For sure. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your style of photography and how like you truly have such a gift of connecting with people in a way where they really don't feel like the camera is there. Like they're so flowing. Like you feel that in the imagery that you see in the work that you
Yeah.
do. And so much of your job is more than just the technical knowing how to
Yeah.
operate a camera. It's knowing how to make people feel comfortable
Mhm.
in front of it. So,
Yeah.
what are some techniques or things that you're thinking about as you're preparing to work with someone on shoot day?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard because some people are so good in front of a camera and some people instantly come in with anxiety. But I think it's just really about the experience of it. Like when people are walking into especially my space, like it is so great that, for instance, like Taryn, TLC Glam. Hi, Taryn, if you're listening. um, she's amazing. Like she's set up. She's ready to go. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's they walk in and feel immediately taken care of. And I feel like if you're so nervous about something, like even with this today, it's like I
Yeah.
felt so taken care of by you guys. And it's like the
Mhm.
experience starts way before the camera even comes out, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I think it is on those planning calls and it is while we're just sitting chatting in the studio before their shoot and it's getting to know them and you know what I mean? So I think it's
Yes.
like that almost like before prep work that really puts someone like, okay, at ease.
Totally. How about post production?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Got it.
big component that people
Mm-hmm.
don't realize
I know.
is such an art.
Yes.
Yeah. So talk about your post production
Yeah.
process. What does that look like for you?
Like soup to nuts, A to B. Like what do you
No,
A to Z? What? Um
well, I'm
I-
also kind of want to know like
yeah.
the demands of client because I mean,
Yeah.
photos are so personal to people,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're working with brands and entrepreneurs. It's like a personal thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm sure you get clients that have different expectations and needs and wants,
Yeah, I
but
think everyone is a little bit different, but
yeah.
for the majority of my client, like I send everything. I mean, that's post-production is, obviously me culling all their photos, editing them all, and then just sending off in a gallery. I don't know if
Are you
there's
an
anything
overshooter
super
or do
special
you
about it.
like
Um, no, I don't think so.
you're
I don't
not.
think I am.
You like
I
you're
honestly don't think I
so
am. I know
yeah.
exactly when I get a shot that I want and it's like move on.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm an overshooter.
Did you used to be
I
or
think,
like in the
yeah, in
early
the beginning,
years?
especially with weddings, because
Okay.
the weddings are pressure like no other, because it's not happening
Totally.
again. There's nothing you can redo like
Totally.
that day. So I think I used to, but even now, I don't even think I'm an like I have second shooters who I'm like, can you not shoot this much?
Yeah.
Why are we shooting this much? Um, yeah, but no, I think post-production wise, it's pretty standard, pretty basic, nothing
In
crazy.
a way, I feel like weddings and like shooting those, this moment only happens once,
Mm.
don't miss it. In a way, it almost like trains you and preps you to be like the most skilled
No, 100%. No, I'm
photographer.
not even 100%. Like I will always be thankful for that season of my business because it does. It teaches you how to handle high pressure situations and remain calm.
Yeah.
So,
If you ever find yourself in a little bit of a creative rut or
mm,
just like so uninspired, what's
mm,
what's one thing that like helps you get out of that
it's a great
or
question.
brings you back to life and find that zest
I
again?
mean, honestly, I know I'm not supposed to say this. 'Cause people don't, but like I feel like I love a social media scroll.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I will type in very specific keywords
Uh-huh.
and look at other things people are doing, even like setting up studios and like different lighting. Like I love seeing all of that. I
Mhm.
really like learning different things. So for me, I don't know. I know even like people are always like social media, the dangers of social media. Oh, we hate it. And I'm like, for me, it's been nothing but
Inspo.
inspiration and
Yeah.
connection and
Mhm.
community. I mean, I've literally met people who've changed my life over that
Yeah.
app. So like for me, I'm like, I don't know. I love it.
The pros outweigh the cons,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I relate to you on that too.
Yeah.
I feel like I have this like DM thread with me and the team where it's like sometimes I'm just firing away inspo and then like I won't tap into it for a week or two
Mm-hmm.
and then I get so inspired by other people's and that's what I do love about it because remember when Instagram like first started, those early years, and like you could actually discover so much
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah,
creativity, it's still
so
out
much.
there.
But even that, like, I'll see one reel and it gives me
10
10 different
ideas.
ideas. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's not even like ripping that thing off. It's like, oh my God, I could do this with this client. Or like, I don't know. It's just maybe that's another thing. I have so many clients in so many different industries that now even scrolling on Instagram, if it has nothing to do with me, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a great idea for CC or whoever.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Oh my God, I have a question
Yeah.
because I'm thinking about, as you're talking about scrolling, I use Pinterest a lot for
Hmm.
inspiration
Hmm.
too. When I'm just like, I can't handle Instagram right now, let me move over to Pinterest and
Hmm.
see how I can get inspired there.
Hmm.
I will never forget seeing a photo of the client that we're here shooting,
Yeah.
but it's a photo that you
Yeah.
took. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about?
do, because it's really popular on Pinterest.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's a lot of
someone
them actually.
AI'd someone
Mhm.
else's
Yes,
face
yes.
on your
Oh my god.
client's bot.
Oh my
Do
god.
you know what I'm
No,
talking
I
about?
don't.
I have
Now
got to
you need
pull
to
this
show
up.
me.
I have got to
I
pull
thought
this
you
up
meant
and
the
show you.
photo because I'm like, I see it
No, that
everywhere. It's always all over people's
no, I've
boards.
seen that photo too, but
Okay.
obviously it is so
Oh, good
popular that
lord.
someone AI'd
Their own
different
photo. That's so
faces
weird.
on that image. I've got to pull
Oh
that
my
up and show
god.
it to you. I'll find it. It's like a
Ew.
purple background, I think.
Oh god.
You know what I'm talking
Yes, I
about.
do.
Okay, so when stuff like that happens with the
Uh,
weirdness
yeah.
that is out there, and it's your imagery,
Mhm.
and even like, I don't know if this has happened, but someone takes client or someone takes your imagery and they like slap filters on it or they manipulate it, but like it's your image.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Oh,
What
all
do
the
you do?
time.
Okay, what do you do? How do you
Nothing.
handle that?
I don't do anything.
Okay.
I think it's all like I don't know. I just think it's a waste of my time and energy to go after someone
Yeah.
about putting a filter, especially if it's a client. Like, I don't know
That was the
if this is
craziest.
what you. Yeah.
And now I have to pull that
I was
up.
gonna say I have no idea what you're talking about with the AI
It
one.
was
So,
scary.
I mean, AI is scary.
Yeah,
So,
I
but it's like,
know.
what do you do?
Yeah.
Chase that creator down and be like, take this down, or pay a lawyer to go after them? Like, what? You know?
Yeah. Is it worth it
Is it worth it?
even?
It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. The AI thing is weird.
It is crazy.
Mhm.
What do you see as like the future of photography and how do
Uh,
you see this industry kind of shifting with new technology?
So I don't know. I obviously have thought about this so much because you watch all the jobs that are getting changed, I guess
Yeah.
we'll say, from AI. And I feel like I'm hoping that people crave the human connection even more. So it makes a human photographer even more valuable. And I think a lot of people can tell when ad campaigns are AI or reels are AI and they're kind of like turned off by it.
I agree.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping that
I
it never goes
agree.
away, but
Right. I'm with you on that too. I honestly kind of think that it might make our jobs more
or
valuable.
that's yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'd rather work with a human to human connection than
100%.
yeah.
100%. So a lot of people, well, there might be a lot of listeners in here again that are kind of starting out their creative business and endeavors and really like trying to tap in to more. Did you have any like mentors or anybody that you learned from, or like what were the resources that other than YouTube University
Yeah.
that really supported you in like taking those steps of growth for your
Yeah, no,
business?
I definitely did. I have joined a mastermind at one point. I have hired a couple different business coaches and worked with them. And I think honestly, it really gives you when especially when you are working for yourself, it gives you an accountability asset, honestly. Like that for me, that was the biggest thing. It was kind of like, "Mm, you said you were going to work on this. Why is this not happening? Or this
Mhm.
should be happening this way. Why are we not changing that yet?"
Totally.
So I think investing in something like that um, has honestly been huge for me. And it's,
Mhm.
obviously you want to find the right person or the right people and the right network. Um, but that's been amazing. And then usually every year I will purchase some sort of course on something, whether it's the technology side of it or the business side of it, just something that I'm feeling like I don't know 100% or I'm not feeling super confident in an area. I will always, like, I think that's the way to go.
For
Like, if you
sure.
don't know something, find someone who does. Yeah.
Yes. And stay curious because
Yes.
that's how you can,
Absolutely.
yeah, flex those muscles and be a better creative and
Yeah.
business owner is
Just
to
keep
always be a
growing.
student.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because you never know what pivots you're going to make
Mhm.
by discovering new information and
Mhm.
how it's going to help you.
What's something now that you're like I mean, I guess you're building the course. So like
Hmm.
you're really tapping into new
Yeah.
territory. But is there anything else that's like you really feel like you're a new student and you're learning and you're like leaning into this more because you're curious and you want to learn more about
I
it?
feel like it's that.
Yeah.
That is it. It's
Mhm.
just the entire online space
Mm.
and making money online as a creator. I mean, the things you can do,
Yeah.
like the options are endless. So I
Truly.
think really, like I said, having now the time and the capacity to really be like, ooh, where do I want to take this?
Yeah.
What do I want to do? Is really, yeah,
Huge.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay, last question before we wrap up and close things out. This is the letter to our future makers.
Hmm.
We ask
Okay.
this to every
Okay.
podcast guest. And yeah, I'm just really excited to hear your response to
Okay.
this. So, if a young creative or entrepreneur found this podcast 10 years from now, what's one piece of advice that you would want them to take from you?
10 years from now,
Yeah, like what's that evergreen advice that you would really want them to hear from you and your perspective?
I would say put your blinders on,
Mm,
especially in the creative industry. There are a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing, and you might be one of them, but only you know what works best for you and your life and what you want. And don't pay attention to what anyone else is saying.
mm. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane as well. I guess what anyone negatively is kind of coming at you with.
Yeah.
So you're not going to encounter someone who's doing better than you, who's trying to put you down. So I think just blinders on.
Yeah, that's really
It's
good.
probably a boring answer, but
No, I
I'd
think
say it's important.
totally.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of needs that
Mhm.
reminder to tap in on that because even being in business, 15 years, it's like you still, I think with every layer of growth,
Mhm.
at least find myself even getting in, like needing the
Yeah.
reminders like that.
Well, because you're watching what everyone else is doing too.
Yeah.
And the higher up you go, the more you keep being like, oh, shoot, I should be doing even this, or I should be doing
Totally.
that, or I'm getting FOMO. And it's like, again, just go back to what do you want?
Yeah.
What are your goals? Is this aligning with that? No? Then why are you even bothered? Like, why do you care?
Right.
Focus on you
Yeah.
and
And I
your business and what you're
totally.
doing. Yeah.
And I guess if you don't even have the clarity on what it is
Mhm.
that your goals are or what you want, then that's where it can get a little muddy.
Muddy, but I feel like you always know.
You
Like your
always
gut
know.
instinct always knows if
Yeah.
this is right for you or if it's wrong,
True.
And
Yeah.
it's like people don't listen.
Yeah.
And then that's when they're like, shit,
Yeah.
shouldn't have done it.
This is so true. So true. Okay. Where can people find you? How can they stay connected to you and your
Yes.
work?
Find me at Brit Perkins _ on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. Well, I am on TikTok, but I don't ever post it.
Dude, that is a whole beast that I just cannot tap
know.
into that
I'm always like,
territory.
maybe I'll hire like an intern to start me at TikTok. I don't know.
It's like I'm really starting to feel old when
Yeah.
I'm now like,
Same.
Can't even.
It's so terrible. People are like, did you see this trend? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, no, it's so bad.
It's so bad. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
This was
I'm
so much
I'm so honored
fun.
that you asked me to do this. So
I'm
thank
so
you.
grateful.
Yeah.
So grateful. Thanks, Britt.